Hey everyone, this is Dewey with Dewey Won a Game. Starting off with a tip of the hat, a heartfelt thank you to my one subscriber. Thank you very much, sir. Your bribe is in the mail. But in all seriousness, let's get down to why I'm here. It is to go over my first impressions of Bloodborne for the PlayStation 4. Um, okay, so now time for some butchering. Creator Hidetaka Miyazaki. I believe he was also the creator for Dark Souls. Don't hold me to that. I haven't done all my research, so yeah, this is just first impressions. But um, since this is, I would guess, a successor or part of that lineage of brutal games, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and now Bloodborne, I would say that creator Hidetaka Miyazaki definitely kept true to the franchise and what he was trying to accomplish with the combat and with the story. Although different in ways, definitely improvements where there needed to be improvements, and definitely that same feel held throughout. So kudos to you, sir, Hidetaka Miyazaki. It's starting to get fun now to say, even though I'm butchering it terribly. So anyway, so more in depth on my first impressions of the combat. The combat compared to Dark Souls, since Dark Souls is the only other game that I've played, definitely very similar to Dark Souls. Unforgiving, you have to be precise, you can't get overconfident, that sort of thing, unless you know what you're doing and you know what your enemies are doing and capable of doing. I think I've died 15 times within the past 3 hours that I've played of the game. And each time, that frustration of, oh, I just lost all those blood echoes, and now I have to go back and hope that I can get them, or sneak away up to the guy, finding shortcuts to the lantern so I don't have to worry about constantly dying here, that sort of thing, definitely in Bloodborne. Um, Changes and improvements to the combat, I would say there are noticeable ones here from Dark Souls. Dark Souls at times felt very clunky and unfair when you died because there were just certain things where your character felt like he would get stuck or he wasn't moving as quickly as you were used to, that kind of stuff. Excuses, I know. But in Bloodborne, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel clunky. It doesn't feel like your character isn't capable of moving. He seems swift and quick on his feet, and if you're getting chopped to bits, it's because you are not as quick as you need to be. So an improvement there. I guess you can consider it maybe simpler, because there are times where I feel like the gameplay is simpler, but then again, I'm not very far into the game either. I think I'm on the first boss or second boss. Um, so yeah, the combat definitely good in Bloodborne. The story, just like Dark Souls, throws you kind of into the middle of just this crazy, um, depraved land of all helping hands. Very good in that aspect, and what I like about Bloodborne is it feels even darker and creepier, whereas Dark Souls had, fantasy mixed with some kind of, you know, intense, creepy environments. Bloodborne is definitely more in that horror and creepy environment where it's just always around you. It's not just, oh, I'm so scared that I'm going to, die in combat because I'm, not judging my enemies correctly, to, oh, I'm scared because I don't know what's going to be around this corner, what that giant shadow is down all the way over there, what those noises are, when they're going to attack me. So definitely a shift from just a fear of dying to a fear of just being in this environment. It is done very well in Bloodborne. So yeah, I gotta say I've said "oh shit" multiple times because something scared me, or just there's something lurking, whether it's in the sounds or the the shadows and the environments. It definitely has me on the edge of my seat. Um, but yes, the story is much like Dark Souls in that it's just kind of like a mystery as to what's going on. They give you subtle little hints here and there where you have to kind of try and put together in your own mind, I guess, what you think of the story. So I won't spoil anything, even though I'm sure I'm not far enough to spoil anything. Um, but definitely enjoying the story. So those are my first initial impressions of the game. Like I said, I've only played about 3 hours and died probably 15, 20 times in those 3 hours. So definitely, if you're looking for that brutal, unforgiving, but fair if you're precise and astute of your enemy's movement, then you're going to find this in Bloodborne, because that's the exact similarities to Dark Souls that I found. Just but more so with it being more fluid. And the story. The story, if you're looking for like a creepy horror type story, just a dark environment where you're constantly on the edge of your seat and you feel as though just there's something waiting behind you, this is definitely a good game for that as well. So yeah, those are my initial impressions of Bloodborne. I'm looking forward to if I can figure it out. I'm still new to this YouTube thing, but if I can figure it out, I would like to try and get gameplay footage of how terrible I am at this game so I can post it for all of you to laugh at and say what a noob. Because I'm sure you're all looking forward to that. If you haven't already guessed, I am quite noobish. But anyway, hopefully I can get that posted for you all, and then I would think if I can complete the game in a timely manner, which I'm hoping I will be able to, because it's quite an engaging game and I can't wait to actually get back into it, I will post a final thoughts after I complete the game, and maybe something a little bit more put together, well written, better, so that you all can understand what I'm getting at instead of me just rambling on and on. But I have to say the rambling though means it's a good game in my book. I typically don't ramble on and on about things unless I really like them. So if you're looking for a good game with precise, fair combat that can be brutal and unforgiving, if you're not precise, then this is definitely a game for you. And also if you're looking for that dark, creepy atmosphere in a game, then this is also a game for you. If you can cope with the precise combat, or if you have someone who can play it for you while you just watch. Yeah, it's also fun. So anyway, those are my initial impressions for Bloodborne for the PS4. No more rambling from me. This is Dewey with Dewey Want a Game. Thank you, one subscriber. Keep watching. Bye-bye.